The Uninvited Guest. The rain was falling hard against the windows of the old house. Inside, Sarah was preparing dinner for her family. She chopped vegetables while humming a happy tune. Today was special. Her parents were returning from their long trip abroad. Her younger brother Leo was setting the table, carefully placing each plate and glass. "Do you think they'll like my new painting?" Leo asked, pointing to the colorful artwork hanging in the dining room. "Of course they will," Sarah smiled. "It's beautiful." Suddenly, a loud knock echoed through the house. 3 sharp knocks that made both siblings jump. Who could that be? Leo wondered. Mom and Dad aren't due for another hour. Sarah wiped her hands on her apron and walked to the front door. Through the peephole, she saw a tall man standing in the pouring rain. He wore a dark coat and held a small suitcase. Something about him made Sarah feel uneasy. She opened the door slightly. "Can I help you?" The man smiled, but his eyes remained serious. "Good evening. My car broke down just down the road. May I use your telephone to call for assistance?" Sarah hesitated. Her parents had always warned her about strangers. But the man looked respectable, and the storm was growing worse. She decided to help him. "Come in," she said, stepping aside. "You can use the phone in the hallway." The man entered, dripping water on the clean floor. He introduced himself as Mr. Evans. While he made his call, Sarah returned to the kitchen, feeling strangely nervous. "Who is he?" Leo whispered. "His car broke down." "He's just using the phone," Sarah explained, though she couldn't shake her unease. Mr. Evans joined them in the kitchen a few minutes later. "The tow truck will be here in about an hour," he announced. "Would you mind if I waited here? It's quite miserable outside." Sarah wanted to say no, but she remembered her manners. "Of course. Would you like some tea?" "That would be lovely," Mr. Evans said, taking a seat at the kitchen table. As Sarah prepared the tea, she noticed Mr. Evans looking around the room curiously. His eyes stopped on various objects, the antique clock above the fireplace, the silver cutlery on the table, and especially on Leo's painting. "That's an interesting piece of art," Mr. Evans commented. "The colors are quite unique." Leo beamed with pride. "Thank you. I painted it myself." "Did you now?" Mr. Evans said slowly. "And what inspired those particular color choices?" Sarah placed a cup of tea before their guest. She noticed his hands. They were clean and well kept, unlike what you might expect from someone who had been working on a car in the rain. "So, Mr. Evans," Sarah began cautiously, "where were you heading before your car trouble?" "Oh, just visiting some friends in the next town," he replied vaguely. "Tell me, are your parents home?" "They'll be back soon," Sarah said quickly, not wanting to reveal that they were alone. The conversation continued awkwardly. Mr. Evans asked many questions about the house and their family, but offered little information about himself. Sarah's suspicion grew with each passing minute. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. The storm had knocked out the electricity. "Oh no!" Leo cried in the darkness. "Don't worry," Sarah said, trying to sound calm. "I know where the candles are." She moved carefully toward the drawer where they kept emergency supplies. As her eyes adjusted to the dark, she saw Mr. Evans standing up. "Perhaps I should check the fuse box," he suggested. "That's not necessary," Sarah said quickly. "We can manage until the power comes back." But Mr. Evans was already moving toward the basement door. "It's no trouble at all. I'm quite good with these things." Something in his voice made Sarah's heart beat faster. Why was he so eager to see their basement? She decided to follow him. "Leo, stay here," she whispered to her brother. With a candle in hand, Sarah followed Mr. Evans down the creaky basement stairs. The air smelled damp and dusty. Mr. Evans was examining the fuse box, but he seemed more interested in the basement itself. His eyes scanned the walls and corners as if searching for something. "You have a very old house," Mr. Evans commented. "I bet it has many secrets." "What do you mean?" Sarah asked nervously. Before he could answer, they heard a noise from upstairs, the sound of the front door opening and cheerful voices. "Mom!" Dad. Leo shouted with relief. Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. She turned to Mr. Evans. My parents are home. We should go upstairs. But Mr. Evans didn't move. He was staring at a particular section of the basement wall. Just one moment, he said quietly. Upstairs, Sarah's parents were taking off their wet coats. What's going on? Her father asked. Why are the lights out? Before Sarah could explain, Mr. Evans emerged from the basement. He stopped suddenly when he saw Sarah's parents. His face turned pale. You! Sarah's father exclaimed, his voice filled with surprise and anger. Robert, Mr. Evans said weakly. I didn't know this was your house. Sarah looked between the two men, completely confused. Dad, you know Mr. Evans? Her father's expression was hard. Yes, I know him. He used to work for me. Until I discovered he was stealing from the company. Now everything made sense. Mr. Evans hadn't come to their house by accident. He had known their parents were away, and he had come to steal something. But what? I think you should leave now, Sarah's mother said firmly to Mr. Evans. But Mr. Evans shook his head. Not until I get what I came for. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small knife. Sarah gasped. Leo clung to their mother's side. What could you possibly want from us? Sarah's father demanded. We have nothing of value to you. Oh, but you do, Mr. Evans said, his eyes gleaming in the candlelight. That painting. He pointed to Leo's artwork hanging on the wall. Everyone stared at the colorful painting in confusion. That's just my painting, Leo said, his voice trembling. Mr. Evans laughed bitterly. You have no idea what you've created, do you? The colors you used, they match exactly the secret code your father used for our company's security system. I've been trying to crack it for months. Sarah suddenly understood. Leo, who was colorblind, often used unusual color combinations in his art. By pure coincidence, he had recreated the pattern that their father used for his most important security code. I don't believe you, Sarah's father said. That's impossible. Is it? Mr. Evans moved toward the painting. Let me show you. As he reached for the painting, Sarah had an idea. She remembered the baseball bat they kept behind the front door for protection. While Mr. Evans was distracted, she slowly moved toward it. Don't any of you try anything, Mr. Evans warned, without turning around. But Sarah was determined to protect her family. Her fingers closed around the handle of the bat just as Mr. Evans took the painting off the wall. At that moment, headlights flashed through the window. A truck had pulled into their driveway. The tow truck is here, Leo announced hopefully. Mr. Evans hesitated, looking between the painting and the door. This was Sarah's chance. She swung the bat, not at Mr. Evans, but at the small table near him. The loud crash made him jump, and the painting fell from his hands. The front door burst open, and two large men entered, the tow truck drivers. Everything all right here? One of them asked, seeing the tense situation. This man is threatening us. Sarah's mother exclaimed. The two drivers immediately grabbed Mr. Evans, who struggled but couldn't break free. One of them took out his phone to call the police. Later, after the police had taken Mr. Evans away and the power had returned, the family sat together in the living room, sipping hot chocolate. I can't believe what happened, Sarah's mother said, shaking her head. And on our first night back. I'm just glad you're all safe, her father added, hugging both Sarah and Leo. You were very brave, Sarah. Leo looked at his painting, which was now leaning against the wall, slightly damaged from the fall. I didn't know my painting was so special, he said sadly. It is special, Sarah assured him. But not because of any secret code. It's special because you made it with your heart. Her father nodded. She's right. And you know what? Tomorrow, we're going to change all the security codes. Then your painting will just be a beautiful piece of art again. Sarah smiled, feeling warm and safe with her family around her. The uninvited guest had brought fear and danger into their home, but he had also shown them how strong they could be when they worked together. And that was a lesson she would never forget.